Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Blue Ridge Bonfire, brought to you by Blue Ridge Overland Gear and the love of our listeners. Um, hey, so second
For
episode.
love of our listeners.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we keep coming back, right?
For both of them.
Oh, come on, we've done the math. There's like
6.
about 14 that comment. Some more consistently than others. Oh, by the way, I'd like to say that I called it 2 episodes ago now, maybe 3. I said, and Dustin won't hear this for 2 weeks. He texted me, it was 10 days out. He's like, you were close. So yeah, Dustin, let me know when you listen to this. We are second episode, recorded an hour after the first episode in our new space. We're really excited about this. It will continue to evolve and reflect the increased quality of the Blue Ridge Overland Gear Bonfire podcast. Today, we are going to talk about must-have camping gear upgrades, like the little things or maybe the big things that go a long way. And maybe I think I'm going to maybe crack open this challenge, not necessarily like overlandy, like, if you're just camping, like it's not specific to a vehicle. But of course, overlanding, it's what we do. It's what we build a lot of our gear specifically for. So we're probably going to lean a little bit that way. So Matt,
I'm ready.
like, I know Matt's favorite thing about upgrading anything in terms
All
of
vehicles
Yeah.
need a fridge. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
That should be everybody's.
And you may have achieved peak fridge use case
Yeah, maybe.
in your current rig. You want to walk us through how long you had that truck and then what you did?
3 years. I've had it going on 3 years.
No, like how long you had it before you did this.
Oh, 3 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like
It was like, honestly, I felt
within
like,
a month or so.
I was going to say within like a week or
It
two.
might have been. It was
You had
very
found
very
the fridge
quickly.
that fit.
Yeah, I found the fridge that fit. Swapped the fridge out. Swapped out. So basically, what I did in my truck is I have a 2500 Dodge that has the foldable third seat in the front.
Yeah.
So it basically, it's got 2 buckets and it's got this little fold down bench seat thing in the front. And I pulled that out in a 35 liter Dometic fits, or 35 quart Dometic, 35 liter.
I think it's
35 liter
liters.
Dometic fits right in between perfectly.
Yeah.
So I built a little wood platform for it to sit on, really simple,
Yeah.
and parked my fridge in there. And as we walked up here, I got into my fridge again because I use it 4 times a day.
Yeah,
like
Matt lunches at his desk, and he's like never more than the distance from the front door away from his,
to the fridge, and so I keep everything in there. I keep stuff that I don't want the kids to get. So I'm trying to hide food from the kids.
Yeah.
I keep that in my truck
Yeah.
because nobody goes like ravaging my truck for snacks.
Yeah, and also not
Until
only
they hear this podcast.
They're not going to listen to this podcast, so it's perfect.
it's
No one in my family will know
pretty
because
good
they're not
armrest.
one of the 14.
yeah, and it's also a good work surface. When we run a trip out
Yeah.
west, we've thrown a laptop up there.
Yeah.
So and I'm with you. I don't have a fridge in the truck at the moment because I'm undeleting my seat for a car seat, so the fridge is going to go back in the back.
Yeah, Rick's life's about to change. His travel accommodations are about to be.
I can no longer sacrifice an entire seat in order to be able to reach over the into the back seat and grab a drink at a stoplight.
Yeah.
Until KJ's old enough for me to be like, drink me, bro, and he just like, yeah.
You got a few days for that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, you never know until you try.
All right.
I'm with you there. A fridge is handy. We've talked before about how you can make it with a cooler, but we were just talking about like driving across Texas. The last time I was cooler dependent for a long trip is when a buddy and I went out to Arizona. We were picking up a camper, so the truck bed was bare. So we wanted to make sure we had, it was pretty easy to unload stuff when we got there for the camper installation. And so we just had a Yeti or maybe an Arctic 45. And it was okay for the first couple of days until we hit the Southwest, and then ice became a major issue. And so we thought we'd work smart, not hard. And I will say that I've adapted the whole dry ice thing before.
Yeah.
And
we have to.
That worked okay until it worked too well.
And
one morning we
froze.
got up and everything had just melted enough that it had then refroze, and you needed a hammer to extricate anything.
You need an ice pick to get it out of the bottom.
Yeah. So don't have to worry about that with the fridge. So yeah, that is a nice upgrade. And I feel like the market, there's a lot of like brands and stuff out there now. There for a while, it was kind of like a pretty small playing field. but that's expanded recently. Yeah, and it's nice even if you like with the drinks versus having to keep them all in a cooler.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. You keep 3, and when you pull 1 or 2 out, you put
Throw
2 more
another
back
one in.
in.
Yep.
And versus with a cooler, it takes forever. Well, your fridge is at a steady 30, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Mine says like 38 or 39 degrees. And
yeah.
that keeps it from pulling the battery down much,
Mm-hmm.
but keeps everything cold enough.
Yeah.
Then I guess I don't have a lot of like crisis temperature dependent stuff in there.
Yeah.
Like I keep salami in there.
Yeah.
If it went up to 60 for a couple hours, no big deal.
Yeah.
Cheese,
It's not-
things like that,
Yeah.
drinks or whatever. It's not like I'm trying to keep milk for a month or anything, but
That's a risky game.
I think that's a risky game, regardless of the fridge. Milk for a month.
yeah, whatever. But I'm saying, it's not. I'm not like I don't have like super rapid perishable stuff in there.
Yeah. And
I'm
even when we've done that, we try to like prioritize. Night 1, night 2 are the things that are going to go south fast. Or
Yeah.
Especially if we're doing a trip where we're going to like kind of hammer out the first day. A lot of times we'll have like steak for the second night, which maybe the first night, like in the camp we're going to stay in. So you chuck it in frozen, and then it slowly thaws. And So,
The other thing is, if you actually use it, that's the one piece of gear that if I'm actually using it the way I intend to use it, right? Like, which I pretty much do. Occasionally I don't, but like, it pays for itself.
Yeah.
Probably within a year, and it almost doesn't matter how much you spend on it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how good a one you get or how cheap a one you get. It's one of those things that like between, basically packing my lunch or, having lunch on board. And it's like, I don't get to the point where I'm like, oh, I need a snack. I'm going to stop at the gas station because I have snacks in there.
Yeah. And too, like with the packing your lunch, I got some friends who are really hardcore into meal prep, and I can appreciate that. But like your meal prep is throw it in there because like, versus like, I think about traditional packing a lunch where you're prepping it at home and then you have to transport all that. Like yours is just there.
Yeah,
so
no,
you're saving
I
time.
throw packs of salami in, packs of cheese in there,
Yeah.
some summer sausage and that sort of stuff. And then I just, as I'm hungry, I grab it and eat it. And it saves me from going to, stopping at the gas station and, spending $8 on Pop-Tarts, or I don't know what you get at the gas station anymore. And it saves me, say I don't go out to eat as much.
Yeah.
When I'm running my fridge hard, when I'm living off the fridge good, I don't stop and get $3 drinks.
We shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I kind of want a Pop-Tart now. Logan, I feel like the last one we threw you under the bus, and also I want to make sure I get ahead of this so nobody has it. So my upgrade for camp is regardless of how you sleep.
No, wait. Logan, last time we threw you under your bus, and here you go again.
No. Like we put it, like, he's on the spot. So this is going to be, you still got a
get
minute.
more time as opposed to you taking your.
No. I was going to say that no matter how you're camping, no matter if it's your rooftop tent, you have a big, quick deploy, overlandy style tent. If you're backpacking, if you're sleeping in the dirt next to your truck or next to the fire, whatever you're sleeping on is as important, if not arguably more important than what you're sleeping under. I definitely have had some trips where I felt like I could get by with mediocre blanket sleeping bag. Not mediocre, but maybe not optimal. But especially like this time of year, what you're sleeping on,
100%.
and as you get older, is way more important than I think a lot of people give it credit for.
Sleeping bag upgrade would be a huge one for me.
Yeah, dude.
That's definitely
That was one of the ones on my list because for sure when I found an actually comfortable sleeping mat, I was like, oh.
No, and like pay attention to our values. Like I remember when I started doing a lot more like winter backpacking, and honestly even some like tarp camping in the winter. People are like, oh, you don't take a tent? And it's like, well, a tent doesn't actually insulate that well.
right.
Like
It doesn't do anything to keep you warm.
It's mesh and some material that has no insulating factor.
Yeah.
You know what does? Whatever's between me and the ground that's currently 15 degrees and arguably frozen solid.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
100%.
a good R value. And then also the rooftop tents. That's something I'll say in terms of the market, like the AluCab mattress. I've got no problems with that. We came with an anti-condensation mat. And then I like a little firmer mattress anyway. So I've got a habit of anytime I get a new tent, I throw 2 Thermarest Ridge Rest cheap pads underneath there.
Yeah.
To give you just a little more of a firm. But the one in that AluCab is probably my favorite that I've ever had, tested, reviewed, etc. Like that stock mattress is really good. So.
Yeah.
Because I'm a side sleeper, and oh man, I've had a few where I woke up and it's like I've been stabbed through the floor of the tent in the hip. I know it doesn't make sense, but I know it happened.
Yeah,
Um,
I've been there before.
yeah.
I'll add to that before I go on to my actual pillow too. Like if
Yeah.
you are a side sleeper, I for a long time I was like, I don't need it. I'll sleep on my clothes. I'll sleep on my bag, whatever.
Yeah, I don't.
And I eventually tried. Like
I
used a camp
sleep
pillow and-
face first, flat out like a fucking drunk, like just like I passed out. So
Oh.
pillow is irrelevant to me.
So,
My hand will work.
Yeah.
My
if you're a
hat will
side
work.
sleeper, you did get the pillow.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
And I will say that, like, I took a time where I would just take my pillow from home. Shout out to Casey at Georgia Bushcraft, because he was just saying, like, they're expecting more snow. Central Georgia, not a place that you would expect a lot of cold weather.
Snow, yeah.
But on a trip down there a couple years ago, took my pillow from home, which was like one of the gel ones, memory foam gel.
Oh yeah.
Brandy and I got up in the tent during an unusual cold snap in Central Georgia, and it was,
Frozen.
oh yeah, you could have put it through a window, man. That pillow was rock hard. Thankfully, once your head warms it up a little, but like it was like a
You don't
neck,
want that.
Right, then you have to wait for your head again.
it was like a
my
neck
hand
brace
is always
though,
fine
because it got soft where my head was, but not on the sides. Like that, the truck could have rolled with me in the tent. I would have been okay. I was
it's well
locked in.
padded.
Yeah.
Like a Hans device.
Yeah, no, 100%. So that's something that made me think maybe this isn't the best strategy. And I was on a trip out, staying in a hotel with some truly god awful, like practically theoretical pillows, and bought a Sea to Summit
it's a good
camping pillow, one of their like bigger, fluffier ones. And I really like that thing. Like actually, I leave it in the tent, deflate. It's an inflatable with like a I don't know, some sort of like fluffy layer, so you're not right against like a plasticky material. But yeah, it's really good. And yeah, 100%. It straps to your sleeping pad if you're backpacking. It's got a little retainer strap. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty light if you're backpacking.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Super light.
it packs up to like the size of your fist, and it's not a full size pillow, but it's easily
Big enough.
It's a sleeping bag size pillow.
Yeah. And I actually, that's a good
For those
point.
of you listening at home, Rick
Yeah,
is
yeah.
using his hands to describe the size.
I was thinking it's probably like 14 by 8, and it's like a good 4 inches thick when it's like blown up to its fullest. So yeah, I agree. A good pillow, worth it, worth taking. And then cliff note, your memory gel whatever pillow
Don't take that in the wind.
is definitely definitely turns into a brick when it gets a bit below about 40. Yeah, lesson learned.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got?
The sleeping stuff was the first thing that came to mind. Second, I'll go a little bougie and say coffee, a good coffee setup. And I should preface with I'm not a coffee snob. I like good coffee, but I'll drink. If I'm on a road
Says the
trip,
coffee snob. I mean, you can tell a coffee snob when
Well,
they tell you they're not.
maybe I'm
not really a coffee snob,
maybe
but
I'm
I
a
only
type of coffee snob.
Yeah.
But I'm not I'll drink McDonald's on a road trip. I'll drink whatever's I'm not above drinking any kind of coffee.
He rolls the dice with the Folgers because depending on who makes it in the shop,
It's fine.
there's a gamut of like it'll melt a spoon or this is slightly dirty water.
But
Speaking of that, we are looking for a coffee sponsor if anybody's interested.
yeah,
for me, if I'm going to make coffee,
Yeah.
if I'm going to go out of my way to take stuff to make coffee, then I want it to be better than instant coffee. I mean, backpacking, sure, I'll do
Yeah.
instant coffee, I'm sure. But if I'm like car camping or whatever, I want it to be actually good.
Yeah.
So my specific one, I've got just like a hand grinder, and then I've got it's a Clever dripper.
Yeah.
one
I will
use.
say that I haven't bought one, but the coffee you made for us at Adventure X Fest was like definitely better than what I normally drink. And I'm an AeroPress guy, AeroPress every morning, but like I would score that up there with like a good number of coffee shops that I've visited. And you made it on the tailgate in some hellacious wind. Like,
Yeah, because it's basically like a pour over, but
just
it closes on the bottom and you let it go for 3 minutes, then you just set on your cup. So you don't have to think about it. You just add hot water to it. 3
Yeah.
minutes, you set it on your mug, and it's good to go. The big thing for me was that if you've ever tried to pour, like, for me, doing less overlandy kind of stuff, it's like trying to pour your hot water from a camp cup or something like that is awful. So this is just like, get it in there somehow. It can splash you and do whatever. So
and the cleanup
Cheap,
was really nice
easy.
too.
yeah.
Because that's always the thing for me with camping is like I like our French press. We talked about like the brew tracks, but like if you're doing it more than one day, like even like your spare tire bag, or if you have a trash bag in the spare tire bag, like the grounds always leak out. And if the bag gets a hole, there's
I mean, if it's only 3 days, I'm just going to pile more coffee in on top of it.
okay,
Throw a little more.
Yeah.
If it's a French press, you just Put a
Yeah.
couple more teaspoons on
Matt
it.
eventually's like, I don't understand why this won't go down. Like, yeah, the plunger's 6 inches out of the top.
How did this get so moldy?
And I will say, you said the instant. I have from backpacking, went down that path, and there are some kind of pretty awesome options though. The baggies, the tea bags,
Yeah.
like Bushcraft Coffee makes, and then
This is like they're speaking a foreign language to me because
Yeah.
Swift
I have a
coffee?
Mr. Coffee at home that
yeah,
has a glass pot, and it is strictly about volume. It is not about
Yeah.
anything else.
They make some decent like actual instant coffee packets now. But my brother kind of ruined those for me. I haven't done the tea pack, tea bag ones, but the just like crystallized instant coffee.
Yeah.
My brother one day he was a barista, and he said these are all pretty good about the newer ones, but I can only taste soy sauce when I have instant coffee.
Huh.
And now he's right. Every time I have instant
Well,
coffee, all I taste
spoken
is
You know
Instant.
what? You know what's really safe for me is I'll never drink instant coffee because I
yeah.
just don't have that going on.
yeah.
So, quick story time for the listeners. I don't know if you know this. For like 3 years, if I was backpacking, bikepacking, overland camping, didn't feel like cracking out the AeroPress in the house, I had Cafe Bustelo instant because I walked into our Ingles that was like a mile from our old house.
And it was on sale.
Oh no, it was like 10 boxes for $10. And there's like 8 or 10 packs, and I think I spent $40. I was just like, it doesn't go bad. It's literally crystallized like freeze dried coffee.
Yeah.
It's like, this is just silly. And so I mean, literally, we had like opened the pantry, and it was just like 4 rows wide, 10 boxes deep, and I chipped my way through those. And there was finally a moment where I was like, oh, there's no more of these left. Wow.
How did I do
That
this?
took a few years, but
I
I
swear
finally,
this was a lifetime supply.
yeah, I made it through them. And they're not bad if you like the Cafe Bustelo, but just a little stout to start with.
I
Yeah.
don't even know what that is.
Yeah. It's
You guys are killing me.
that's good. I'll bring you some. There's
Yeah.
we've got some in the house.
That'd be one.
It comes in the bricks. Like it kind of looks like, like it's like
It's like
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
Cuban coffee.
yeah.
Okay.
I've been told by people that it's like way too strong, and what's wrong with you, your monster? Why'd you put so much of that in there? It gets the
Well,
job.
I don't care if the spoon stands up.
Yeah.
I don't even care what it tastes like, as long as you don't add anything weird to it.
Yeah,
No vanilla, no fucking just coffee. I just want coffee.
yeah,
Black, burnt, don't care.
yeah.
Just
Uh,
coffee.
And the last thing I'll say is the little pour over kits. I got a buddy I fish with that I don't remember the name. We'll maybe drop it in the show notes. But it's like a disposable pack that is a pour over funnel in it, and it's all like
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen that.
they're pretty dang good. It's more work than when I'm on the trout stream I'm willing to do. But yeah,
So upgrade your coffee kit.
yeah.
That's the moral of the story. From whatever you have now, upgrade it unless
Yeah.
and just
If
use
you
your
don't drink coffee, that's fine.
I mean,
But if
I
you're
drink
gonna go out of
coffee.
your way
I
to
drink a
I
lot
don't know
of
if I'd
coffee.
say that's fine. I've got a lot of judgments about that sentence, but
Yeah. I drink a lot of coffee. I just don't care how it tastes. I don't,
yeah.
it's strictly for the effect, not for the.
See though, but I feel like you would appreciate like back when I was doing way more riding, gravel riding. We a buddy and I would do a Saturday morning ride, usually starting in the dark, and we had an out and back, and we don't want a bunch of crap on the bike, but started taking a little alcohol stove, like 2 metal mugs, and 2 instant coffee packs, usually for a long time, Cafe Bustelo.
Yeah.
And so we would stop and be like, all right, coffee break. And that was usually about the time, like, sun's coming up, it's warming up a little bit. You enjoy that. And then you hop on the bike and ride back.
I mean, I like coffee.
Yeah.
I like it about any time. I just
There was a lot of things you like. There was combustion. We made the stove out of like shaving cream
cream
cans.
canisters.
Yeah.
No, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I have a couple alcohol stoves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody gave me that were.
I actually
Yeah,
just
maybe.
used an alcohol stove that I made for like 2 years. That's all I used.
We should upgrade. That should be your upgrade.
Yeah.
So did you upgrade to a
Yeah.
real stove?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
going to
kind of-
upgrade to one of the foldable jet boil things. I think
Oh, the base camp. That thing
Yeah.
is pretty nifty.
I think that's going to be one of
Yeah.
my soon to be kitchen upgrades because I have not.
Yeah.
I'm not. My camp kitchen setup is not particularly impressive.
The base camp
it
does
consists
give
of my
you-
fridge and that's it.
A skillet, a pot, and a 2 burner in an incredibly small package.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of ridiculous of how compact when you think about like any other way you have all those components.
I think that's the perfect thing to leave in the back of the truck. And
Yeah.
again, if you need
And
coffee on the fly or something,
You're in the JetBoil ecosystem, and something I didn't realize until I messed with one is like you run your propane into one side, and it unfolds, and there's a like a hookup on the other side. It has like some little catchy name. You can actually, it comes with an adapter that you can put your jet boil there. So then it literally is like the fuel's going from the tank to the first eye to the second eye to your jet boil burner. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, they've got some little nifty.
What's the other one? What's the other one that Matt's got with the blacksmith? Matt.
Oh, he's
Scott.
using I don't know the brand, but he's actually using a butane, which it's weird because like those have been super popular in like Japan, Korea for camping forever. And they've kind of like, and I think earlier in the States, and they've come back around. Like I was in an outfitter not that long ago, and they had a whole shelf of like propane, isobutane, and then isobutane, and then butane cans that you just plug in.
Yeah.
And it's a single burner, pop it in. Yeah, lightweight, relatively compact. Yeah,
That would be an interesting option too.
Yeah.
That you might get a little more heat out of.
That's actually a good. What's the upgrade you want to do? I would like to get a better camp stove situation because I upgraded my backpacking stove, but I still don't have like a burner.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's- So
And
how
that jet boil thing in the car is
yeah.
something like, or I should say, something that size. I just want something that is smaller than my Camp Chef or
yeah.
What's your next?
Oh gosh, my next one. Oh, I don't know. Like I recently just went through. I really dialed in, like for lack of a better term, the chuck box, the cook box. Instead of having stuff in different places, bought a case, built some dividers for it, and it's really is like I can strip it down and keep a lot of dry goods in it. Or if I really want to take a little bit of everything, we have a cutting board. We've got a little box in there for utensils and seasoning. We've got 4 bowls, 4 plates.
So do you keep that kitted
Yeah, no.
all the time? It just never,
Right.
you don't ever use it for anything but that. I think that's the.
I even bought off mic at the gear sale like an older jet boil to keep in there because I do take my other one out sometimes. And I wanted everything but the camp stove fits in it. And there's even room for some like dry goods and stuff like that. Yeah.
I think I think there's. I think again going back to we've talked about before, but like tools are under the seat in my truck. They always live there. They always go back there.
Yeah.
I think having that stuff kitted that doesn't go back into your house.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't go back
It doesn't
into
stay
the
in the
rig.
truck, but it is in the gear shelf.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, however that works. It doesn't go back into a living system. It stays in. Because I think, one of the things as you're thinking about, as you upgrade gear and as I think about gear and things that I do, like I want it to be like ready to go because that's usually what gets in my way.
Right. Yeah.
Like
100%.
removing the barriers that get in my way. It's like, oh, we want to go do this, or oh, I want to go here, or oh, I want to go do something. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, I don't have this ready. I don't have that ready. I
Yeah.
have to get this together. And then
That's a worthy camp upgrade is like building kits because then you can just like because if I grab that box and my 2 burner, the only thing missing from the equation is food, and I actually keep like
I was going to say, and you just keep a few,
like
freeze dried meals in there.
yeah.
I think that's I don't have that going on that side very well. Like I said, I keep the fridge reasonably stocked,
Yeah.
but I mean, having something set up where it just lives in one of the drawers in my truck in the back where it's.
But no, you nailed it. I've got a breakfast scrambler, freeze dried meal. I've got some sort of dinner entree. And one of my favorite things for like just adding on to a meal is the little cups of instant mashed potatoes that you can just pour boiling water into. Because then if I want to take steak and cook or we're grilling trout, then I've got a side. But yeah, just the other day I opened it up to double check spices and then a little container of soap for rinsing up some dishes and.
Yeah. But I think kidding stuff like that is a huge upgrade to most of what you're doing because, like I said, the barrier for me is almost always getting out of the driveway.
Yeah.
That's half of why I started a lot of this was because I don't want to go do something and take me half a day to get my crap together to be able to get out the driveway. Where as I got more stuff organized, got it together, got it manageable, it's like literally just get in the truck and drive away or throw these 2 boxes in the truck and drive away.
Yeah.
And that increases the amount of things that I'll go do and it increases the amount of time that I've got to go do it.
And
I think that's a huge piece that people miss. Is
and that
not having
applies to so
stuff
many
together.
things. So like to plug our gear, one of my favorite things we make is our tote bags. Because I use them for like there's a black market tote in the back seat right now. It's the take crap into the truck bag. But I've got a fly fishing tote bag. And except for when they're wet, my waders, my boots, there's usually a couple of reels and my fly fishing bag are living in there. And so the rod tubes, and the net are across it, laying across, boom. A lot of times through the summer, I keep one with all my cycling stuff because a lot of times now I'll drive somewhere and do a ride. It's got the shoes. It's, usually keep like an extra T-shirt in there for after the ride.
Yeah.
My helmet, a water bottle, and my saddle bag. And so I throw the bike on the rack. I throw the tote bag in
In the
back of
truck, then you drive
Done.
away.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's that's a huge piece that as you have interests that get you out away from your house, right? And that's the key, right? Like interests that get you kind of away from the house, and that's usually what mine are, right? Like I'm not that I'm looking to leave the house, but I want to go outside and do stuff and I want to stay busy and
But instead of digging around,
right. Instead of spending 20 minutes trying to find my whatever,
and
it's in this bag, it's in this box.
Yeah.
Throw the box in the truck. I know I've got what I need. I mean, even going back to my chainsaws are kitted like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's spare fuel, bar oil, a plug, a file,
yeah.
a pair of gloves. My chaps are with it. All that stuff lives in one thing. I grab that box and my chainsaw, and I'm good for if I needed to cut for a day, I could. Not that I ever do that, but
Funny you say that. Like the one place I've really developed that, and I'm still working to hone it in, is the tractor.
yeah,
Because like if I'm out, we don't have a huge chunk of property, but if I'm out and need to do a belt, or I'm swapping this out or swapping that out, I've got the tools on the tractor now that just apply to the tractor.
Yeah.
And even silly little things like when I switched to the Kevlar belts for the Boeing deck, those things don't go on easy, and the tensioning bolt didn't give enough slack. Well, it just hit me. I was like, oh, I can pull this over further if I just kept a ratchet strap. So boom, went and found a little short ratchet strap in the tractor box. So now I need to change the belt, clip it onto the tensioner, crank her down, and then I've got two hands to handle everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that in life, same thing, even, the minimal amount of random camera stuff I keep, I mean, like, I keep the little Osmo thing with me all the time just for fun.
Yeah.
And a mic and some other stuff. And it's all in an XL EDC pouch. And I've got a backup battery, all the cords, all that stuff. And it's sitting in there. I throw it in my bag and it's just with me.
Yeah, I got a carry-on size case for Christmas with a camera divider. I have a lot of things I'll use that case for, but I got that insert. I can leave my camera stuff, my drone, my lenses, my batteries in there. If I want it for something else, I just pull that out, put it on the shelf. I can use the case. Yeah. But any other time, it's like drop that in and
leave it.
We need to make you a Velcro liner for the.
Oh yeah,
I did that for my big one, game changer.
Yeah.
So
mine. Not that it matters, but the duffel bag is built around the 938 case.
Yeah,
like it's built to fit
the
inside
tour
it.
duffel. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
The tour duffel is made to fit inside that bag because, we've been flying more lately or traveling.
Yeah.
Been to Europe a few times now, and the family's, been on the road a little bit more, slightly differently than out of the truck. And one of the things we realize is that when we go someplace, we don't have the room to bring stuff back. We always end up with more stuff. So it's like now I can throw the duffel bag inside the case.
Yeah.
That goes under the plane. And like I'm going to SHOT Show Monday.
Yeah.
So like I'll pack my clothes and all my stuff in the duffel that I need for the week. I'll have a carry-on. I'll throw that in the hard case, take the tour duffel, put it in the hard case, throw that out of the belly of the plane. When we come back, because we'll come back with stuff, random stuff, then I pull the tour duffel out. That's my second carry-on when I'm coming home, and then I just ship the plastic
So we
case
did that
back.
in Norway. Obviously, we were planning on bringing back some stuff. So we went with 2 cases, and one of us had a personal item carry-on.
Yeah.
But one of the cases had the duffel in it. And so, we pick up some sweatshirts, and Brandy got some cloth for her grandmother and stuff. Like, then on the way back, then you can subdivide and then boom, carry that on the plane. That was super handy to have an extra bag that took up 0 room on the way out. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, and I think that's because that's we've kind of been working again. I think we've been working on kitting stuff and thinking about how we travel and the other things we do that aren't just driving around and how to manage that. And then 2, if you're not just traveling out of your truck, if you're flying someplace and renting, or you're flying someplace and doing some traveling out of that front, how do we manage that? And that's where a lot of the new stuff, honestly, has come from.
Yeah.
Trying to make that simpler.
Not going to be an issue for the foreseeable future, but when I was out in Colorado testing the GMC, I needed to take some camping stuff to camp with, right? Like I'm flying. And so my larger Nanook, I kind of built a kit of like everything you need to camp that you can take flying. And I was like, oh, this would actually be pretty handy to have like kind of the same thing, like a dedicated case of just like if I was going somewhere, going to be in the woods, but I can't get all of my normal crap there. Like here's a good way to take, like all I needed was a fuel canister. I think that's the only thing I stopped.
Yeah, I stopped and bought when you were there.
So
I think, I think trying to kit stuff like that makes a lot of sense. And I've been trying to think outside of, or, we've been building stuff the last probably couple of years that is traveling, not just out of the vehicle, but traveling in general or going and doing stuff in general and where we use that and stuff that functions day in day life. I think, kind of going back to the upgrading your gear, it's like if you can kit the gear you've got, upgrade the pieces that make sense.
yeah.
I think you end up, life's a lot easier on that front.
No, for sure.
Any other kit that you really want to upgrade?
Well, I mean, I've got one, but it's kind of goes within like it would just be an addition to my case, and it's something we need to do. Is I think we could really kit a really cool like packing cube, and now that we have the Grenadier underseat tray that has a little structure, I think a coffee cube that fit a jet boil, which are all like pretty much standard height, right? A bag of coffee, and then with the jet boil you can get the French press insert, and then like maybe room for one other thing. So if you have like a like a grinder or something that went in there, I think that would be really nice to have. Like add coffee and add fuel and go. Like that would be the only thing you would need. So I have another one. Was just thinking as my head gets kind of itchy here, wearing this wool toboggan. For camping upgrade, get you some good sleeping socks, and they're only for sleeping. Like I never have cold feet because I always take sleeping socks. Like even when I'm doing
Actually is a good one.
ultralight backpacking, when I'm sacrificing a lot of things, but I still have a pair of socks that's just for sleeping. And if you want to go like next level on that, the best pair of sleeping socks in the world are duck hunting wader socks. They are over the knee.
Oh yeah,
They are easily a 1/4 inch thick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't even carry long johns anymore. Those are my, like, it's really cold, I need another layer from the waist down. That's what I use.
That's not
And-
bad because you don't have to take your pants off to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't wear long. My problem is I start wearing long johns in November and I don't stop until March.
So
maybe mid-March.
I mean, I still have a few pair. The other day I wore them to work.
Yeah.
But like you're right. So especially with backpacking, or
I don't ever not wear them. Like literally,
Yeah.
I think I've worn long johns 3 times this winter. So far.
See, I just run too
I've
hot.
never not worn them. Like I'm not kidding. From mid-November, every single day, I have a bunch of pairs from mid-November until March. I don't.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'll be outside a lot
Yeah.
with a hoodie and I've got a same thing like a long underwear
Like
shirt
a
on
base layer.
and a hat, and I'm pretty good to fairly cold. And worst case scenario, if it's really bad, I grab a puffy. And
Yeah.
I mean, I was out one of the really colder days we had, which was kind of 20s.
Yeah.
I was out for a couple hours at least, probably 3 on a tractor sitting moving hay, and
Yeah.
was not. I mean, it was cold, but I wasn't hating myself.
Yeah.
and
Miserable. No, I mean, I still use them, but
And
you
it's
hit
easy
it.
to peel a
So
layer.
I can't tell how many times I've got with this right here. Backpacking or camping, even if it's out of the truck, you put your long johns on at night, because I don't know, I get warm when I get up and get moving, and I think I have like a wide temperature differential or something. But at night I'm laying there, and I'm like, I really want an extra layer from the waist down. Well, you get up the next morning and you break camp and you get in the truck and you roll out, or you get your backpack on, everything's packed up, and you start walking up the trail, and almost instantly you're like, oh man, real sweaty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, but
So-
then I peel layers.
Right. But I mean,
Well, later you can take off your pants.
No, but I don't worry. But as long as by the time I ditch my hat, ditch usually some.
oh
form
no,
of-
see, I'm having a much more localized problem.
Yeah.
Without
Yeah.
being crude, it's from the 5th floor down that's real warm.
Yeah.
We're okay from the 5th floor up.
I'm saying if you let the heat expel from the top half, usually the bottom half evens
That
out.
makes sense until it doesn't work.
Yeah. And so coming from somebody who is a half mile from camp in the Smoky Mountain National Park, the most visited park
In
in
a
the
tank top and 2 layers of pants, wishing I was in 1 layer.
Right,
of
and
pants.
going like, "Hey, dude, you gotta yell if anybody's come up the trail because I'm about to get real naked." But with the socks, we did a New Year's ride 2 years ago, right? I guess.
Mind you, you guys all have 4 layers on right now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, t-shirt,
I got 3.
hitting
3
like
layers.
the
right.
thermal.
Okay,
and
I'm
then-
just checking.
yeah.
I got a hoodie.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I just need a better HVAC system. But With the socks, you just pull your boots off, pull the socks off, put new socks on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say the other thing that you should upgrade is your headlamp.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
headlamp.
that's
yeah.
true.
I don't know what you have, but upgrade it.
I've got the same one you like. The
Okay, well then you're probably
HM50R
fine.
Phoenix is probably my favorite, like day to day. Like it's in my jacket pocket right now. Like I'm taking the dogs out early in the mornings and trying not to break my neck on ice.
Yeah.
The bigger one, the 60, also a great light because it's a right angle flashlight, magnetic tail cap. I just like the buttons on this one, the user interface.
It's better. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. Because the 60 I keep in my my everyday bag.
Yeah, I think
It
the
stays
50 is like a V2. Like it's literally in the product name. I wish they would just do a V2 of the bigger one.
Yeah.
But just the other day, as I was reorganizing some gear, I found my caving headlamp, which is actually like rear battery compartment.
Yeah.
You can use 4 AA's, or there's a lithium insert.
As a Petzl or what?
It's
is
a
it?
black diamond.
Black diamond,
And
okay, same thing.
yeah, it is. I've been in some of the pits in like Alabama, and it's like a laser. I mean, that thing will absolutely
Yeah.
like penetrate the darkness. Like
Another thing I think is worth having, and I'm sure everybody does at this point, but it's the small power packs.
yeah.
Having some kind of small power pack or stuff like that,
And
you can throw it on. And I leave that.
Not to
Same
be
thing
a
in my
brand name
everyday
guy
bag.
after we just threw out Phoenix, but like that's something where like a good one goes a long ways
Yeah.
because there's all kinds of like practically promotional ones that are crap.
Jump. Yeah.
But-
So what is a good one?
We have 2 Gold Zeros, one of which I've had probably one of them probably 4 or 5 years old. Use it a lot, especially camping, and I liked it so much. So it was like I'm just getting another one.
Yeah,
and
the Gold Zeros are awesome.
yeah.
I have a couple of Anchor ones that I like
Yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah, I have some bigger anchor ones. The only reason I'm asking is because I'd like to find a smaller one.
Yeah.
yeah.
And the smaller one I have is actually I have a DeWalt one.
All right, so we've got power packs, just making kits for things in general.
Yeah.
Good sleep stuff, sleeping pad, pillow, a fridge in your vehicle will change your life.
Yeah. Life changing.
Upgrade your coffee.
Your coffee kit. If you're a coffee drinker, have a good coffee kit, which is kind of a good segue off our other conversation. And if you're not a coffee drinker, I don't know what you're doing in your life. They make decaffeinated if you're sensitive to caffeine. It's my favorite drug. Caffeine is.
It is the drug of choice here for
Yeah.
sure. And buying good stove equipment, buying good cooking equipment. That's a
Yeah.
once cry once thing for me. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Kind
it's
of.
easy to not spend the extra $100 or extra
Yeah.
$50 or whatever it is to upgrade. And I think that's been a
Oh.
mistake I've made.
I think that's a good kind of wrap up of just like the elevating the experience, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So, if you guys have any other like camping tips, tricks, hacks that we have glazing over here, glossed over-
Upgrades.
upgrades. Yeah. Like, tell us where the upgrade really like hits home for you. You know,
For sure.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'd be curious as to what I'm missing.
kind of going
honestly.
back to our visitor in the shop the other day, the down booties. We've got a friend that has like perpetually cold feet, and she's same thing. She's like, in August, she's taking her booties camping. Maybe a slight exaggeration.
Yeah.
In September, she's taking her booties. You know, so things like that. Other things you do, let us know in the comments or shoot us a message on socials. Yeah.
Also, we started putting together a list, some podcast topics, some video ideas. If you have any topics that you think would be good
Yeah.
to talk about, feel free to drop those too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And hey, Dustin, let me know when you listen to this. Yeah. And real quick, backpedal previous episode. Was drinking my coffee out of a Yeti mug gifted to me by my good friend, Jimmy Hyman. Always like to give Jimmy a shout out on the podcast.
Green Top Outdoors.
Green
We
Top
appreciate
Outdoors
the,
outside of Richmond.
We appreciate the love.
Yeah.
And Jimmy and John and the boys over there
Yeah.
are good people.
I literally walked in and was like, I didn't bring my mug up this time. But yeah.
Yeah.
So great. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We will catch you in 2 weeks.